The warning the Galactic Council chamber was massive. Thousands of species sat in their floating seats, watching the small human at the center platform. Ambassador David stood alone under the bright lights. His simple gray suit looked plain compared to the colorful robes and scales of the alien beings around him. "You must understand," David said, his voice carrying through the chamber. "We are asking you to respect our borders. We do not want conflict." A deep laugh echoed from the left side. Commander Vrock, a large reptilian from the Thalan Empire, stood up. His red scales gleamed under the lights. "Respect? You have been in space for only 50 years. My people have ruled the stars for 50,000. Other council members joined in the laughter. David felt his jaw tighten, but he kept his calm face. "That may be true," David continued, "but we have learned much in those 50 years. We have studied. We have prepared. Please do not test us." "Is that a threat?" asked Elder Myra, a floating blue creature from the water world of Pelos. Her voice was soft but cold. "From a species that just left their home planet?" David shook his head. "It is a warning. There is a difference." More laughter filled the chamber. A small insect-like being named Click clicked his mandibles. "Warning? We have weapons that can destroy stars." "What do you have, little human?" David looked around the chamber. He saw the same expression on every alien face. Amusement, superiority, dismissal. They saw humans as children playing with toys they did not understand. "We have history," David said quietly. "We have survived things that would have destroyed other species. Ice ages, plagues, wars that killed millions. We did not stop. We learned. We adapted. We became stronger. Every species has hardships," said Vrock, waving his clawed hand. "You are not special." "Perhaps not," David agreed. "But we are different. We do not give up. We do not surrender. And we remember." The council chamber fell quiet for a moment. Then Vrock laughed again, louder this time. "Brave words from a weak species. The Thalan Empire has decided. Your system has resources we need. You will share them with us. If you refuse, we will take them." David felt his heart sink. He knew this would happen. Earth's intelligence reports had warned him. The Thalan Empire wanted Earth's rare minerals. They wanted the water from Jupiter's moons. They wanted everything humanity had worked so hard to claim. "And the rest of the council?" David asked, looking around. "Will you allow this?" Elder Myra's body rippled in the water tank. "The council does not interfere in territorial disputes. If you cannot defend what is yours, you do not deserve to keep it." Other council members nodded. The law of the galaxy was simple. The strong took what they wanted. The weak lost everything. David closed his eyes for a moment. He thought about Earth, about the billions of people living their lives, about the children playing in parks, about the families having dinner together, about everything humanity had built. When he opened his eyes, his expression was hard. "Then we have nothing more to discuss. I will deliver your decision to my government." "Run home, little human," Vrock said with a grin. "Tell your people to prepare for new masters. The Thalan fleet will arrive at your world in 3 months. We will be generous. We will let you live if you cooperate." David turned and walked toward the exit. His footsteps echoed in the silent chamber. Before he reached the door, he stopped and looked back. "I gave you a warning," he said. "Remember that I tried. When this is over, remember that we offered you peace." Vrock laughed. Threats from a human. How entertaining. David left the chamber. Behind him, the council members continued talking and laughing. They did not know that humanity's warning was real. They did not know what Earth had hidden from the galaxy. They did not know that in 3 months, everything would change. The countdown had begun, and the galaxy would learn what it meant to ignore Earth. Asterisk the silence. The Thallin fleet arrived exactly on time. 300 warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. Each ship was massive, carrying weapons that had destroyed countless worlds. Commander Vrock sat in his command chair, watching the small blue planet on his screen. "Deploy the fleet in attack formation," Vrock ordered. His officers moved quickly, their claws clicking on the control panels. "Send the surrender message to the humans." A communication officer nodded. "Message sent, Commander. We are waiting for their response." Vrock smiled. This would be easy. Every species surrendered when they saw the Thallin fleet. Those who did not were destroyed in minutes. Either way, the Thallin Empire always won. "Commander," the sensor officer said, his voice uncertain, "I am detecting unusual readings near the moon." "What kind of readings?" Vrock asked. "Energy signatures. Very powerful ones. They are hidden behind some kind of stealth field. I cannot get a clear reading." Vrock frowned. "Destroy whatever it is. Fire a warning shot." 3 Thallin destroyers turned toward the moon, their main weapons charged with blue light. They fired. Massive energy beams shot through space toward the hidden signatures. Then something happened that Vrock had never seen before. The beams stopped. They simply stopped in space, frozen like insects in amber. A moment later, they reversed direction and flew back toward the Thallin ships. 2 destroyers exploded instantly. The third managed to dodge, but its shields were down. "What was that?" Vrock shouted, standing from his chair. "What kind of technology is this?" Before anyone could answer, the hidden signatures became visible. Hundreds of human warships appeared around the Thallin fleet. They had been there the entire time, invisible and waiting. But these were not normal warships. They were dark and angular, covered in strange markings that seemed to absorb light. Each ship was smaller than a Thallin destroyer, but something about them felt wrong, dangerous. "All ships fire at will," Vrock commanded. "Destroy them." The Thallin fleet opened fire. Thousands of energy weapons lit up the darkness of space. It should have been enough to destroy the human fleet 10 times over. But the human ships moved. They moved in ways that should not have been possible. They dodged and weaved through the weapons, fire like dancers. Their movements were too fast, too precise. No living pilot could react that quickly. Then the human ships fired back. The weapons they used were unlike anything the galaxy had seen. There were no energy beams, no missiles. Instead, space itself seemed to tear apart where the weapons hit. Thallin warships simply disappeared, folded into nothing. Others were crushed, their hulls compressed to the size of small rocks by invisible forces. Shields at maximum. Vrock screamed, "Return fire! All weapons!" But it was no use. The human ships tore through the Thallin fleet like knives through paper. 20 ships destroyed. 50 ships. 100. The battle had lasted less than 5 minutes. Across the galaxy, other alien species watched through their long-range sensors. They had come to witness the destruction of Earth. Instead, they watched the impossible. The mighty Thallin Empire, conquerors of 1,000 worlds, was losing. "Retreat," Vrock finally ordered. His pride was gone, replaced by pure fear. "All ships retreat immediately." But when the surviving Thallin ships tried to activate their faster-than-light drives, nothing happened. The drives were dead. Something was blocking them. Then came the message. It appeared on every screen of every ship in the system. It was Ambassador David's face, but his expression was no longer calm or diplomatic. "You were warned," David said simply. "You had 3 months to reconsider. You chose war." Vrock grabbed his communication panel. "Please, we surrender." We will leave your system and never return. Too late, David replied. You attacked our home. You threatened our families. Now you face the consequences. The human ships moved into a new formation. They surrounded the remaining Thalan fleet completely. Then they stopped. They just floated there, waiting. What are they doing? An officer asked. Vrock did not answer. He was staring at his sensor screens. Around the human ships, space was beginning to change. It was bending, twisting. Reality itself was breaking down. Then came the silence. Every Thalan ship lost power at once. Lights went dark. Engines stopped. Life support failed. Communication systems died. In the void of space, 300 warships became floating coffins. The human ships remained active, watching, waiting. They did not fire another shot. They did not need to. The message was clear. Earth had won. And they had done it without destroying every enemy ship. They had done something worse. They had proven that they could take away everything that made the Thalan fleet dangerous, leaving them helpless and alive to witness their defeat. Across the galaxy, the species that had laughed at David's warning felt cold fear creep into their hearts. The humans had not just won a battle. They had revealed technology that seemed impossible. Technology that broke the known laws of physics. And Earth had been hiding it the entire time. The silence spread. Not just through the dead Thalan ships, but through every council chamber and military command center in the galaxy. No one laughed anymore. No one made jokes about the primitive humans. They finally understood. Earth had not been weak. Earth had been patient. And now the galaxy would learn what humanity truly was. Asterisk. The aftermath, the emergency session of the Galactic Council, began in complete silence. Every member was present. Even the species that rarely attended council meetings had sent representatives. They all came to discuss the same thing. Earth. Elder Mayra floated in her water tank, her blue body still and tense. She looked around the chamber at the frightened faces. No one wanted to speak first. Finally, she broke the silence. We need to discuss what happened in the Sol system. What is there to discuss? Asked Commander Vrock. He looked different now. His red scales were dull. His proud posture was gone. He sat hunched in his seat, barely looking up. We attacked. We lost. The humans destroyed my fleet without even trying. Not destroyed, corrected Click, the insect ambassador. His mandibles clicked nervously. That is what frightens me. They could have killed everyone. Instead, they just made your ships stop working. They showed mercy and power at the same time. Mercy? Vrock laughed bitterly. They left my people floating in dead ships for 2 days. We thought we would die there. Then they sent small ships to give us basic life support and slow engines. Just enough to limp home. They wanted us to survive. They wanted us to tell everyone what happened. Elder Myra rippled with thought. What kind of weapons were those? Our scientists have studied the sensor data. Nothing makes sense. They violated the laws of physics. Maybe they did not violate them, said Ambassador James, the new human representative. He walked into the chamber calmly, his hands behind his back. Unlike David, who had dressed simply, James wore a military uniform. Dark blue with silver stars on the shoulders. Maybe we just understand those laws better than you do. The chamber erupted with angry voices. Species shouted and demanded answers. James waited patiently until the noise died down. You lied to us, Elder Myra accused. You pretended to be weak. You hid your true capabilities. James shook his head. We never lied. Ambassador David told you the truth. He warned you. He said we were different. He said we had prepared. You chose not to believe him. But where did you get such technology? Click asked. You have only been in space for 50 years. We have been studying physics for much longer than that, James replied. While your species explored the galaxy, we explored science, mathematics, theory. We looked at problems differently. We asked questions others did not ask. He walked to the center platform. Every eye in the chamber followed him. You see, the galaxy made an assumption. You thought that because we were new to space travel, we must be primitive. You forgot that advancement is not just about how far you go. It is about how deep you think. Vrock stood up slowly. What do you want from us? Tribute? Territory? Are you here to conquer the galaxy like we tried to conquer you? James looked surprised. Conquer? No. We want the same thing we wanted 3 months ago. We want to be left alone. We want respect for our borders. We want peace? Peace? Elder Myra's voice was doubtful. After what you demonstrated, you could take over the entire galaxy. We could, James agreed, but we do not want to. Do you know what the worst part of human history was? When we fought each other, when we conquered and destroyed our own kind. We learned from those mistakes. We learned that real strength is not about controlling others. It is about protecting what matters to you. He looked around the chamber. Every species here has resources we could use, technology we could study, worlds we could claim. But we do not need those things. We have our own system. We have our own future. We ask only that you respect that. The council members looked at each other. This was not what they expected. They had prepared for demands, for threats, for a new empire rising to dominate them all. Instead, they got a simple request for peace. However, James continued, his voice becoming harder, if anyone attacks Earth again, the response will be final. We showed mercy once. We will not show it twice. The Fallon fleet survived to deliver a message. The next fleet will not be so fortunate. The chamber fell silent again. But this time, it was a different kind of silence. Not the silence of fear, but the silence of understanding. Click spoke up carefully. What if we want to trade with Earth? What if we want to learn from you? James smiled for the first time. Then send ambassadors. Send teachers and students. Send merchants and artists. We are happy to be part of the galaxy. We just refuse to be victims in it. Over the following months, everything changed. The Galactic Council officially recognized Earth's sovereignty. Species that had ignored humanity now sent diplomatic missions. Some came seeking alliances. Others came simply to understand how such a young species had achieved so much. The Fallon Empire fell apart. Without their reputation of invincibility, their conquered worlds rebelled. Vrock himself resigned in disgrace. In his final message to the Council, he said only one thing. We should have listened to the warning. Earth did not expand beyond its system. It did not need to. The galaxy came to them. Human scientists shared some knowledge, but kept their most advanced secrets. Human merchants traded fairly. Human diplomats spoke with respect, but never with weakness. And in the council chamber, where Ambassador David had once stood alone and laughed at, there was now a permanent human seat. Not because Earth demanded it, but because every species agreed it belonged there. The galaxy had ignored the warnings. They had dismissed humanity as primitive and weak. Then came the silence, and in that silence, they learned the truth. Earth was not the strongest species because they could destroy. They were the strongest because they could have destroyed everything and chose not to. They had the power to conquer the galaxy and the wisdom to leave it free. That was the real warning. And now, finally, the galaxy understood. The end asterisk.